Alright guys, so we are a few short days away from Wrestlemania 29. It's April 7th. Today is the 4th, so we're about 3 days away from Wrestlemania 29. And I'm excited about this, so today I am going to give you my predictions and thoughts on the WrestleMania card, the matches, who I think is going to win, you know, all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm looking at the card right here on WWE.com. Got all the matches right here. And it's Tons of Funk, which is Tensai and Brodus Clay, and the Funkadactyls, Cameron and Naomi, versus Team Rhodes Scholars, of course, Damien Sandow and Cody Rhodes, and the Bella Twins, Nikki and Brie Bella. Let's see, I'm pretty certain that this one is going to go to Rhodes Scholars and the Bella Twins. I could be wrong, of course. That's who I want to see win, definitely, and that's who I am going to predict to win. I don't have much to say about this match. There isn't much of a feud going into this match, so there's really not much to talk about. And on the WWE.com poll, they have a poll for all the matches. 78% of the people predict Tons of Funk and the Funkadactyls will win this one. And 22% predict Rhodes Scholars and the Bella Twins. I can just tell you right now, on every single one of these matches, every single one, pretty much the heel is booked, has less and a lot less. This one is actually one of the most even ones out there, 22% compared to 78. Most of the other ones are like in the 90s, and the heels are in like the 10s and like teens or something like that. So it's very low for most of them. Anyway, the next match on here is Chris Jericho versus Fandango. Gotta let the A's breathe. Actually, I think this is going to be quite a good match. I could be wrong, but I think this will finally really shut up the "you can't wrestle" chants to Fandango. You'll probably hear some Johnny Curtis chants too. But I do want to see Chris. This is one of the ones where I'm pretty sure Fandango is gonna win this one. I'm almost 100% certain that Jericho is gonna put Fandango over. I wouldn't mind if Jericho won. You know, but I was always a Johnny Curtis fan. I did enjoy Johnny Curtis's work down in NXT, so I wouldn't mind seeing Fandango go over Chris Jericho. I do think that these two will put on a very good match. It's probably not many people probably are expecting these two to put on a good match, but I definitely see a good match coming out of these two. I don't really have much to say about them. Now, this next match is the WWE Tag Team Championship match. Team Hell No, Kane and Daniel Bryan, taking on Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston, with, of course, AJ is going to be in their corner. AJ is probably going to play a pretty big role in this match, maybe screwing over Kane and Daniel Bryan. That's very likely to happen. I don't know who I want to win and who I want to see win, because I do like both these teams. And Dolph Ziggler does have the Money in the Bank briefcase, so does he need the tag team titles right now? Not necessarily, but this is going to be Big E's WWE debut match. Of course, down in NXT, he's had plenty of matches, but that doesn't technically count. So this is his debut WWE match, which I'm excited to see him finally in a match after all these months. So, yeah, I do predict that I actually am going to go with Dolph Ziggler and Langston to win this one. I don't know why, it just seems like they're finally, Kane and Daniel Bryan have held the tag team titles for quite a few months now, actually. When they won them last year, Night of Champions or something around then? They won them before then, I believe, actually. I'm not too sure when they won them last year, but they won them in the middle of the year, I think. So, I don't see them holding on to them for way much longer, of course. They might, you never know. But according to the poll on here, 81% of the people think Hell No is going to win. 19 think Ziggler and Langston are going to win. As I said, the heels are always, predicted to lose by the WWE Universe on this WWE.com poll. The next match is Ryback versus Mark Henry. I think this match is probably going to be pretty crappy. I don't see much coming from this one. I'm not a Ryback fan. I think I've liked 2 of his matches so far, maybe 3, if that, and those were his ones against the Shield. Yeah, I've liked maybe like 4 or 5 of his matches. Any of the ones when he was against the Shield, all that stuff. Against CM Punk, that was a good one. But other than that, all his matches have been shit. I'm not a big fan of him. Now, Mark Henry, on the other hand, I do enjoy some of Mark Henry's stuff. He hasn't had that much since he's came back this recent time. He has destroyed some people in some squash matches. But I'd like to see more out of Mark Henry. I liked his last run, his run with the World Heavyweight Championship. That was a good run for Mark Henry. But I do see Ryback going over Mark Henry because they're really trying to build up Ryback. And this is definitely the tail end of Mark Henry's career. So putting over Ryback wouldn't be a bad thing for him right now. So I definitely do see Ryback winning. I would love for Mark Henry to win, but I do see Ryback coming out with the victory on this one. And 86% of the people say Ryback's going to win, 14 say Mark Henry. Like I said many times already now, at the end of each one of these, the WWE Universe isn't going to vote for the heel to win. So most of them aren't. Now the next match is the one that is on the pre-show, and that would be the Intercontinental Championship match, Wade Barrett versus The Miz. And this is on the pre-show, of course, as I just said. I'm just reading what it says there. It says it below. The interactive pre-show, whatever that means, I don't know. But apparently it's an interactive pre-show. But with this one being on the pre-show, I definitely see Wade Barrett retaining the title. I don't want to see Miz hold the Intercontinental Championship. He just pretty much held it not that long ago, and he did nothing for the title. Of course, Wade Barrett isn't really doing much for the Intercontinental title because they aren't booking them right. They always book their mid-card champions, the United States champion and the Intercontinental champion. They always book them to lose. You know, in non-title matches, they book them to lose to put their guys they're trying to push up to that main event status. They're trying to push them by having them beat the mid-card champions. See, back in the day, whoever had held the mid-card titles and was feuding for the mid-card titles were going to be the next people to move up into the main event. And now they got it all ass backwards, so I don't know. They don't book the Intercontinental and the United States championships right. The United States title isn't even on this card. When's the last time that title has been defended on WrestleMania? Seems like it's been forever since that title's had a WrestleMania match. Unless it was last, I don't even know. I don't pay attention enough probably to remember. Anyway, I do predict that Wade Barrett is going to win. 25% people say Wade Barrett's going to win. 75% say The Miz. I'm with the 25 who say Wade Barrett. I want to see Wade Barrett, and I think Wade Barrett's going to win. I don't like Face Miz. Something about him. He just seems very cheesy. He doesn't make anything, I don't know, just a bit of a dry throat. But Face Miz isn't as good as Heel Miz. Heel Miz was pretty good on the mic, but Face Miz, he just seems like he's pandering to the crowd too much. Way too much pandering to the crowd done by him. And he's not very enjoyable. I do enjoy Wade Barrett, though. Wade Barrett is, he's always been, I've always liked Wade Barrett. I think he should have held the world title by now. Like, way back when he was with the Nexus, he should have held the world title, but I digress. Let's move on to the next one. Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show versus The Shield. Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins here. Now, I want The Shield to win. I see The Shield winning this one. Of course, it depends on how they want to book it. If they want to book The Shield to keep looking strong as they have for the past, 4 or 5 months now, they've been having The Shield look very strong, winning all their matches. They're undefeated so far, and I see why not continue it at WrestleMania. Just make them look even stronger. You can make your other 3 top guys look strong while still losing to The Shield. You know, look at Elimination Chamber. They had the match against Ryback, Sheamus, and John Cena. None of those guys lost any momentum, and The Shield still picked up the victory. You can do something like that again, and still have the Shield look strong, and have your other guys look strong, because you don't want to make the Shield look weak after all these all these months of build-up for these guys, and then have them lose at WrestleMania. It just doesn't look right. It just wouldn't be right. But of course, hell, you could even have one of the members of Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show. You could have one of them turn on their team to have the Shield win. Whatever you want to do, it'll still make the Shield look strong, and will still make your other guys look strong because one of them turned on them. It'd be the perfect time to make Orton or Sheamus turn heel. Of course, you don't want to make Big Show turn heel. He just turned face coming into this feud, so that wouldn't really bode well for anybody, because that would just be completely pointless. Just completely pointless having Big Show turn face, then turn heel literally 2 or 3 weeks later. Of course they might do it, because, Big Show, who knows if they do. They always sometimes seem to make Big Show turn face and heel a lot. But next up is the World Heavyweight Championship match, which is Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger. Now this match, I'm not very excited about this one. I'm not a big fan of either of these two. I know both of them can wrestle. It's just they don't show anything. They don't really have that charisma. They don't really have the it factor, if you ask me. Now, it's hard to say who I want to win this one, of course. I want to see Jack Swagger win I wouldn't mind seeing Jack Swagger win the title just to keep his momentum going. I don't see him winning the title. And of course, if Alberto Del Rio wins the title, maybe Dolph Ziggler will come out and cash in. Of course, if Jack Swagger comes and wins the title, it'd be a pointless, really, win. Of course, they do that. They do that sometimes. I'm just saying. I think it would be a pointless win to have Jack Swagger win the title, then literally 10 seconds later have Ziggler come out and, you know, cash in Money in the Bank. Of course, what they could do is have Alberto Del Rio win, have Jack Swagger after the match, maybe make him win by like roll-up or something, have Jack Swagger after the match attack him, give him the ankle lock, or whatever he calls it, the Patriot Act, I think he calls it, yeah, have him give him the ankle lock, just, that's what I call it, and then, of course, he'll be down the ring. Then you can have Ziggler come out, 1, 2, 3, cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase, get the win, 1, 2, 3, in the middle of the ring, and Dolph Ziggler is your new World Heavyweight Champion. Of course, they can save the Money in the Bank, but he only has a couple more months with it. He only has till the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, so they have to cash it in soon, or he's just not gonna be able to use it. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that. Of course, on WWE.com, 81% say Del Rio's gonna win, 19% say Swagger. I don't know. I'm more leaning towards Del Rio to win this one, especially with the whole thing that happened with Jack Swagger a couple weeks back, the whole arrested thing, so, you know, who knows? Who knows? Now, next up is Triple H with Shawn Michaels in his corner versus Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman in his corner, at least, most likely Paul Heyman in his corner, in a no-holds-barred match, and if Lesnar wins, Triple H will be retiring. Now, there's a couple of things they can do with this one. Of course, it's going to be just pretty much a brawl. There's not going to be much wrestling going on. You're probably going to see chairs, you know, stuff like that being used a lot, brawling around ringside. Shawn Michaels might get involved. Now, a couple things could happen. Of course, I'm assuming that Triple H is going to win, because it wouldn't make too much sense. Because, of course, Triple H doesn't want us to retire quite yet, and it wouldn't have to make sense to have Triple H lose twice in a row to Brock Lesnar. Or at the same time, what they could do, now this is far-fetched, and I doubt it's going to happen, Shawn Michaels in Triple H's corner, who's to say Shawn Michaels isn't going to cost Triple H the match? Give him a big super kick, 1, 2, 3 from Brock Lesnar, match is over, leading into some type of Triple H Shawn Michaels feud. Of course, Shawn Michaels is retired, and I don't think Shawn Michaels wants to come out of retirement, but I wouldn't mind it. I think that might be something that they could do. Of course, they won't. I highly doubt it. Like I said, the idea is far-fetched. Most likely, Triple H is going to come out with the victory. I want to see Brock Lesnar win, but at the same time, I want to see Triple H win, because I am a fan of Triple H. I know some people say, oh, he buries everybody, blah, blah, blah. He really doesn't. He really hasn't. How many people has he literally buried? Alright, I shouldn't say literally, because he hasn't actually really buried anybody. But I mean, you know what I mean. How many people has he actually buried? I can count on one hand probably the number of people he's actually buried. Everyone just says whenever he beats someone, it's him burying him. No, that's not the way burying works. I digress. I'm not going to get into it in this video. But he doesn't bury everyone like people say. Anyway, like I said, I do believe Brock Lesnar will lose this one, and I do believe Triple H will win, unless my idea they do have, of course, Shawn Michaels maybe interfere and cost Triple H the match. You never know. They could do something like that, but it's highly unlikely, and most likely Triple H will come out the victor in this one. Now, next up, what is next? Gotta scroll the thing up here. The Undertaker versus CM Punk. I am very, very excited about this match. This match is going to steal the show, no doubt in my mind. This is going to be match of the night. This is going to be one hell of a fight. I am very excited. Like, week after week, these two put on the segment on Raw that I love the most. These guys have made me actually really excited about WrestleMania. These two are the only two that have really made it feel like WrestleMania season to me. You know, ask me like 2 or 3 weeks ago if I was excited about WrestleMania coming up. I would have said no. These past 2 or 3 weeks, this is the match. These are the guys that have really made me, excited about WrestleMania coming up in the next few days. These two guys have put on a hell of a showing on Raw. This past week, it was great. The whole Druids coming out and Paul Heyman dressed up as Paul Bearer. That leaves me the question, is Paul Heyman going to also be in CM Punk's corner in this one? Is Paul Heyman going to be working double duty with both Brock and CM Punk? I really hope so, because I love having Heyman out there with CM Punk. But of course, especially with the urn, he would have to hold the urn. I don't see why he wouldn't be out there with CM Punk. But is he going to work double duty? We'll have to find out in a couple of days and see. But this is one of those matches where who I want to win compared to who I'm pretty sure is going to win are two completely different people. Because, more than anything, I want to see CM Punk end the streak. I would love for CM Punk to end the streak. But the chances of that happening are very slim to none. Now, there's a lot of different outcomes that are going around my mind that could happen with this one that could either lead to CM Punk winning the match, ending the streak, and still having Undertaker, not look weak and everything. And see, that's the thing. You don't want either of these two to come out looking weak, especially CM Punk after just holding the WWE title for 434 days. You don't want to have him look weak in this one, And being beaten by The Undertaker fair and square in the middle of the ring would definitely I'm not going to say it would make him look weak, because, it's Undertaker. Undertaker can beat you and you don't look weak. But at the same time, they have to put on a good long 30, 40-minute match, which could end in some type of, who knows, they could have the lights go out when CM Punk is pinning Undertaker and have it turn out that, then it comes back and Undertaker's pinning CM Punk, or who knows. They could do all sorts of different little tricks, and at the same time, the urn. If they still have the urn, isn't that supposedly, I know it hasn't been used in many years, the type of all of Undertaker's, powers, his powers. They haven't done much with that in the past years, but the urn is supposed to be the source of his power, is it not? So couldn't they do something where they try to control the Undertaker or something like that, They emptied out the contents of the urn. I don't know. Undertaker, everything about it is all confusing, because I always thought that the urn was the, controlled his powers and all that, but then he went years without using the urn, and then it was back, and then it was gone, and then Paul Bearer, and then it's back, and then, so who knows? But I do see Undertaker coming out with the victor in this one. Of course, CM Punk could pull out an upset in this one, which I wouldn't be upset about it, of course. I would be very excited if CM Punk could in turn come out and beat The Undertaker. I would love that more than anything. It would make sense in a way. Many people are going to say, oh, WrestleMania 30 is going to be Undertaker's last WrestleMania. You're right, it might be his last WrestleMania, but who says he's going to wrestle? WrestleMania 30 could be when he gets inducted to the Hall of Fame. Doesn't mean he has to wrestle at that WrestleMania, it just could be his last WrestleMania, and after that he's gone. You gotta look at it that way. People are saying, oh, well, of course, WrestleMania 30 seems like it would be a good spot for him to retire. You're right, WrestleMania 30 would be a good way for him to retire. But 21 and 0, I mean, come on, does he really need to go to 22 or 21 and 1? No, and some people say the streak doesn't need to end for him to leave. I do believe that that's like the way that they write it. The streak is the one thing keeping Undertaker here. That's the one thing that is keeping the Undertaker left, keeping the Undertaker coming back to the WWE. Once the streak's over, Undertaker's gone. That's pretty much it, and it makes perfect sense. The streak is the only thing left holding Undertaker into the WWE, and I would love to see CM Punk end that. Who's another candidate to end the streak? You gotta look at it that way. Who else could do it? The only other full-time wrestler who could possibly end the streak would be John Cena. And nobody really wants Cena to end the streak. And damn sure, no matter where they are, if John Cena ends the streak, there will be a full-on riot in that arena if John Cena ends Undertaker's streak. And who's another person? I mean, of course, Brock Lesnar, and since he signed a contract and all that, he could have a match, but does he need to win? No. Brock Lesnar doesn't need the victory over The Undertaker. It wouldn't make sense to have him win. CM Punk still has a couple years, probably quite a few years left in his career. So, I mean, it would make sense to really put him over as the guy, you know, as the main guy, as one of the top guys, the top heel, if he can beat The Undertaker. It would make perfect sense. And now I've been rambling on probably about this for about 5 minutes now, but, you know, I want to see CM Punk win. Chances of that happening are slimmed in on. I want to hear your thoughts about this whole, about Undertaker CM Punk, what you think is going to happen, who you think is going to win, in the comments down below. I definitely do see some type of, I don't know, I can see CM Punk ending it, that's the thing. But at the same time, I see it being very not likely that it's going to happen. If that makes any sense. But, let's get into the main event now. Let's talk about this match, which I am not excited for at all. The WWE Championship match between, Rock and John Cena. These two have not got me excited about this match whatsoever. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a Cena fan, and I haven't been pretty much ever, but I do think I want to see Cena take the title from The Rock. Now, hear me out on this one. Rock has the title. He's part-time. He hardly shows up. He doesn't defend the title anything but on pay-per-views. I mean, come on. Do you really want this guy, The Rock? Do you really want that guy to be your WWE champion? You don't want that guy to be your fucking WWE champion. You want a guy like Cena who is at least going to be there week in, week out, at house shows, at pay-per-views, at Raws, at possibly sometimes on SmackDowns, all that stuff. You want that guy who's going to actually show up to the shows, who's actually going to promote the WWE, who's actually going to care about the business. Not some guy like The Rock, who's just, you know, he's there saying he cares. If he doesn't show up on any of the shows, barely ever, 2 weeks before WrestleMania is the first time he really showed up in how many weeks? 3 or 4 weeks? No, that's not the type of guy I want to see as the WWE Champion. At least Cena, he was there. There was 1 week he wasn't there, but, you know, because they had nothing for him because The Rock wasn't there. So, if The Rock was there, he would have been on that show that 1 week that he didn't show up. But, I digress. I want to see John Cena win, and chances are John Cena will win this one. Now, at the same time, I've heard that Rock is scheduled to show up at Extreme Rules in a match, which would make sense. Which would make sense. He could cash in his rematch, because of course he's going to get a rematch if he loses. But at the same time, unless he wins the title back literally a month later, it wouldn't make sense for him, really, you know? You know what I'm trying to get at, because unless he wins it, it wouldn't make sense to have Cena beating him twice in a row or something. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. Also, I want to go back for a second and talk about Undertaker vs. CM Punk, because I've also heard that CM Punk is possibly going to be taking a couple months off after WrestleMania, which could easily leave the thing that he beats the streak, which Undertaker isn't happy with after the match, attacks him after the match, and you know, he goes out with an injury for a couple of months until he comes back, which could easily be something that they do. It would make both of them look strong. Of course, would it really? I guess it wouldn't really make CM Punk look that. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with this. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But now let's get back to talking about the WWE Championship match. I definitely do want to see Cena take the title from him. I don't want Cena to hold the title for long, though. That's my only problem with this. But I also don't want to see Rock hold the title for much longer. I mean, he's had one title defense since he won it against CM Punk. You know, that's not the guy I want as the champion. I want the guy who's going to defend it on house shows weekly, who's going to show up on Raw and have matches weekly or bi-weekly, you know. Have a couple of matches a week, you know. Maybe one on SmackDown or something. Who knows? That's the type of guy I want as the champion. I don't want a guy who, like The Rock, who's barely going to show up, never be on house shows, you know, stuff like that. It's not the type of guy that you want to see as the champion, because it doesn't do anything. And of course, the main reason that they put the title on The Rock near WrestleMania is to promote WWE. Is to promote WrestleMania when he's talking about all his movies and talk shows. Funny thing is, he never brings the title with him there. It's like, you have the title. Bring it with you onto the shows to really pump up and hype WrestleMania. So, I digress. That's the full WrestleMania card. I'm pretty excited for the show. As we're getting closer, I'm getting more and more excited about this. Not gonna lie, it is the only pay-per-view I truly order on the TV in HD every year. Definitely gets me most pumped up, that's for sure. It's definitely the most exciting pay-per-view of the year. It's always a good time, WrestleMania, is just sit out there and watching it for hours on end. And this year, apparently, there's they're doing this WrestleMania post-show. I don't know what's going to be on that, but apparently it's the fallout and interviews with everything. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's on. It's going to be streaming. They're having that as streaming on their YouTube and their WWE.com, just along with... There's also the pre-show this year, which is starting at 6. So WrestleMania is like 5 hours this year, isn't it? Because the pre-show... And it goes till 11 like always. So you have the pre-show, then you have the actual 3-hour pay-per-view. Right? Yeah. No, the 4-hour pay-per-view. WrestleMania is 4 hours. You have the 7, 8, and 9, 10. And then you have the 6. So WrestleMania is like 5 hours this year with the pre-show, which could mean it's 6 hours. That's a lot of WrestleMania. That's a lot of WrestleMania. I better get my sleep on before this show. I'm going to go now. I'm going to start catching up on that now. I want to hear your guys down in the comments who you think's going to win the matches, what you think's going to happen. How excited you guys are for this show and all that good stuff. Leave some comments, anything you guys want to talk about WrestleMania. I'll try to reply to you guys as you guys are, writing your comments and all that good stuff. I'll try to, if you have any questions about what I think about something, about WrestleMania, ask them below and I'll definitely try to answer those too. And I will see you guys probably another video like this after WrestleMania for my WrestleMania review, thoughts, and my review and thoughts of it. So, this has been Predictions and Thoughts. I'll catch you guys in a couple of days for the review.